Professor, we've always been told not to procreate with our close relatives because of a lack of variety in the gene pool. So if you had a modern species that is endangered and you bring the situation all the way down to a few couples, or if you bring the argument to Adam and Eve couple, just a single reproductive couple, would you have enough mutation, enough naturally occurring variation and mutation from those few couples to bring the population back up to a healthy population?
Yes, this was, of course, the problem that faced progeny of Adam and Eve. The biggest problem with incestuous mating is that it brings to the fore lethal recessives. We all of us contain a few lethal recessive genes. But it doesn't matter because lethal recessive genes, as you know, have to be paired off with their identical opposite number before they show their lethal effects. And they are rare for obvious reasons. Natural selection selects against them. So they're rare in the population as a whole. So when you choose a random member of the opposite sex to mate with, the chance that your lethal recessives will happen to coincide with his or hers is low. It occasionally happens, and it's very unfortunate when it does. But if you mate with your sister, then the chance is very high that your lethal recessives will match hers, and therefore you will produce deformed or dead offspring. Oddly enough, I mean, it's not that odd, if you carry on with brother-sister matings for enough generations, like populations of white rats in laboratories, you get rid of all the lethal recessives at a cost of a lot of death, but once they've all been selected out, then you end up with a pure strain which are pretty much identical twins of each other. And then the lethal recessives have all gone, natural selection has removed them, and so populations of laboratory white rats breed perfectly well with brother-sister mating for that reason. The questioner asks whether if there was a bottleneck in a particular species, as there was among cheetahs not that long ago, and as there actually probably was among humans between 70,000 and 90,000 years ago. We seem to have gone through a bottleneck of only a few hundred people. Then is there enough variation to avoid the lethal recessive problem? Well, evidently in some cases there is, because here we are, we did survive that catastrophe. I mean, it is a big problem, but it's not a total wipeout, and it evidently wasn't in that case.